Hey guys, Twisted J here, and today we've got another anime review. Now I'm not sure if I've mentioned this on my channel before, but I've been making my own manga for a while now. I'm not sure if I'll ever release it. I'm mostly making it for fun to, keep my skills, my art skills in check, don't let them get bad. And originally it was meant to be a visual novel, but I stopped just because the programming kind of confused me and annoyed me, and I just couldn't do it. I'm not good with programming. Now I mentioned all this because in today's anime, we follow a main character whose goal is to make a dating sim. And will he succeed or will he fail? And most importantly, is the anime even interesting at all? Let's find out on this week's review of Saekeno, How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend. In our story, we follow the main character, Tomoya Aki, voiced by Matsuko Yoshitsuku. I mentioned this as you probably heard his voice from somewhere. He has the most generic anime voice of all time. Now, while this would be pretty bad in most cases, it actually kind of works in this anime. That's because this anime kind of just comments on and talks about a little bit about the problem in anime currently, and that's why I feel like this main character was voiced with such a generic voice actor. His voice is pretty generic, but this can lead us with a generic main character, which is a little bit annoying. So there isn't really too much I can say about the main character, as you've probably seen him in every single anime. He's the guy that stands up for right and never betrays a person, stuff like that. He is also indecisive, oblivious to everything that the girls do to him or do want to do with him, and he's also a pushover, which can be very annoying. I hate when main characters are pushovers, when they get beat by other girls, stuff like that. It can be funny once or twice, but when it keeps happening over and over, I find it annoying. But at times he does speak his mind, in specifically one episode, and he does say some stuff where he doesn't think about the person's feelings sometimes, but he is still kind of a pushover. But from here and there, he kind of speaks his mind, which is kind of nice. Which is really nice, actually. Not kind of. Aside from our main character, we also have other characters, obviously. He is trying to recruit people into his circle, what they would call it, and to help make the visual novel, or dating sim, whichever one you want to call it. And one of the characters that he recruits is Utaha Kasimogaoka, I think. I think that's how you pronounce it. She's another anime archetype in that she is the most beautiful, smart girl in school. She's also a little bit cold to the main character because she is the senpai. And she seems to possess a little bit of a yandere side to her, which we see when she is out writing her manga. It can be pretty funny when she does that. Tomoya wants to recruit her for her writing ability, so she could be the writer for his visual novel, or a dating sim. And next is the character Eriri Spencer Sawamura. She's your standard lowly tsundere, childhood friend type character. Tomoya wants to recruit her for her amazing art that she draws. The most interesting thing I can say about this character is that she is a hentai artist, which is pretty funny. That can lead to some really funny moments, but overall I just don't like the character as I really dislike tsundere characters and lowly characters. The only tsundere character I actually do like is Maki from Love Live, but that's because there is no main male character, so it kind of takes, you kind of don't see the problems with the tsundere that I have personally, which is just the constant beating of the main character, never being able to say her feelings. Just kind of annoying. I don't like rude people like that, so I don't like the tsundere characters. Lastly, we have Megumi Kato, the standout character in this show. She is described multiple times in the show as having a boring, normal, invisible personality. Nevertheless, she is what inspired Tomoya to start this dating sim of his, because of their first encounter that they had, which actually wasn't their first encounter, but that's what pushed him over the edge into making his game. In an anime where everybody's personality is flashy, kind of unrealistic, the reactions to everything can be unrealistic, she stands out as her. She really isn't overly crazy. She would react kind of how you imagine you'd react in some of the situations. You kind of like, okay, sure, whatever you say, main character. That's kind of how she reacts, which is what makes her a standout character, in my opinion. But the anime does want to remind you that she barely stands out, in that even in episode 2, when we first see her, when she talks, the camera barely focuses on her, so it has her a little bit off the frame, kind of like this, where her frame, you can barely see part of her, or something's happening in the background that's more interesting than what she's doing, so you're supposed to focus on the background, which makes you think, it keeps it in your mind that she is a boring character. She's supposed to be a boring character, she's not interesting, but she is nevertheless the main character and the main heroine for the visual novel that they're making. So it's pretty interesting. I like that. It can be pretty funny. She has I think she has the most funniest dialogue in the show. The way she talks, everything about her is really funny. and especially when she's going along with Tomoya's crazy antics. Her reaction to that can be really funny, and when she tries to act as a main character should react with being over the top crazy, it can be really funny for her to attempt to do that. So that's why she stands out as my personal favorite character in this show. There's actually one character that I forgot to mention, and that is Michiru Hyoda. She's only there for 2 episodes, but she's still technically a main character, even though 2 episodes out of 12 isn't really much. 13 technically if you count episode 0, but she is in that, so she's 3 out of 13 episodes. Tomoya chooses her because of her music talent. She's kind of a tomboyish character, but the problem I have with her is that every time she's on scene, the etchiness just jumps up by 100%. The fan service just jumps up out of proportion, which leads me to my next talk, fan service. Now this isn't really the fault of the character that there's so much fan service for her specifically, but it can be annoying. Before her appearance, there was a bit of fan service already in the show, mostly coming from Utaha, but the amount we get when Michiru is on screen is just over the top crazy. Sometimes there's entire scenes just focusing on her ass or her breast or other parts, and entire dialogue scenes just focusing on that instead of what the characters are doing or their facing. That can be pretty annoying, as the tone most of the show was it was comedy, but it didn't rely on the etchiness as much as it does when she's on screen, which makes her feel more dull, I guess, because the most important thing about her is her ass and her tits. It kind of just ruins the character a little bit, and I don't like that, because I think that you should dislike a character for their personality, not because of the fact that the artist or whoever is in charge of the way the scenes are made. Because of her fan service, she gets annoying, not because of her character. So I kind of find that annoying. But other than that, there isn't too much fan service. There's a lot in the episode 0, but other than that, it kind of 1 or 2 scenes per episode, and then some episodes having a little bit more, but when she's on screen, it just goes crazy out of there. One thing that I wanted to mention is we do see in the intro a character, Izumi Hashima. I expect her to be a main character, as she was in the intro screen, but we only see her for like 2 or 3 episodes, so I just wanted to mention that. Speaking of the intro, let's talk a little bit about the music. The intro and the outro really didn't stand out to me. I did find it kind of funny that they used Gurren Lagann's song in one of the episodes, which was pretty cool, but other than that, nothing stood up to me, nothing to the background music. I can't remember any of it right now, it's only been a week. So I don't have anything to say. As far as voice acting goes, 2 of the characters you might recognize, which I already said, Tomoya and maybe, I think it was Utaha, whose voice actors you might recognize, but other than that, most of the people haven't done crazy big roles, but you might recognize 1 or 2 of them. Now, the anime is made by A1 Pictures, creators of Sword Art Online, Koroshitsuji, Black Butler, and Aono Exorcist. Now, you might see Tomoya, since he is an otaku, he has lots of anime figures all over the place, and in the background you might notice a lot of Sword Art Online figures, and I don't know, that's why. Now you know how they will ever get the rights to that is you see a couple of stuff from A1 Picture animes, is what I'm saying. But as for the art, it's a kind of standard slice of life, nothing too crazy. Really colorful though, really nice, really cheerful, keeps you happy, and the not darker, but more serious episodes, the tones do get a little bit grayer, a bit darker, but overall the anime stays really cheerful, really happy, nice colors, so I liked it. Nothing out of crazy, nothing Fate Stay Night or Fate Zero level, but nothing, you don't really need that for this episode since it is mostly a slice of life show. I personally enjoyed the show. It kind of helps that I'm making my own manga, as I have some familiarity with the show. I have something that ties me to the character a little bit. I can kind of see some of his struggles or the struggles of the characters around him, just because when I'm making my own thing, I know what problems we can run into, things like that. If you're expecting to go into depth of how to make a visual novel or dating sim, this definitely isn't the anime for you though, as the making of the visual novel is kind of the thing that ties them together, but isn't the main focus of the show. Still, there is a little bit of talk about dating sims and how to make them, but nothing that'll actually help you make your own thing. I like that there was some fourth wall breaking stuff in some of the episodes, and I also like that they did comment a little bit on the state of anime, or the way anime uses exposition pretty badly, and if you watched episode 0, you know what I'm talking about. Still, the main characters were pretty generic, so that the writer of the novel could make fun of the state of anime and how manga or anime is today, or at least that's my thought. This can be a bit annoying for some people, as you've probably seen every character from some other anime here except for Megumi, so you might know how they're gonna react or what they're gonna say next, because they're anime tropes, so you already know a lot about them if you've seen a lot of anime. Even with that, the comedy, the plot, and character interactions kept me interested in the show. There will be a second season, so if you're interested in knowing that, there will be a second season, so this season isn't enough to end. So I'm pretty happy about that. As far as recommendation, I would recommend it if you're looking for a slice of life comedy that was really funny and very interesting. Hopefully the second season gets pretty far. I don't know if it'll actually end with the second season, but we'll see. As for anime recommendations, on my anime list I recommend Girls Beyond the Wasteland, as it's another anime about making manga. So I haven't seen it, so I can't personally say what I would give it, but it's recommended on there, although it only has a 6.45 out of 10, right? So I don't know. I personally recommend My Teen Romantic Comedy if you're looking for a comedy slice of life. Some of these characters kind of act a little bit like the characters in the other show do. And the other one I would recommend is When Supernatural Battles Become Commonplace, as both of our main characters are otaku. Some of the characters have the same personalities, so if you like some of the personalities here, you will see the same personalities over there, both 12 episodes, but the other one doesn't actually go any farther than 12 episodes. Nothing's really explained in that show, but I had a lot of fun with that show, so if you like this show, you will probably have a fun time with that other show. Anyway, that's all I have for today's review. If you liked it, subscribe, and I don't know what I'll be reviewing next time, but anyway, subscribe so you can see next week's review, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!